This man never left his comfort zone. Look at the text. It says he sowed seeds in his field. How much people you meet every day who need your help? You turn up your nose. Can I help you today, bruh? Tomorrow come. Tomorrow might be a better day. I'll help you tomorrow. Now, Sam and I didn't help someone this week, Clement. We didn't have one person who came to our car. He says, Uncle, give me 10 cents. Have you anywhere around Golden Gates, you know what I mean. Give me 10 cents. 10 cents, Uncle. And I said to him, I'm on Kentucky drive-through line. Getting ready to hit one of them famous rice bowls. Woo. Focus, Pastor, focus. And so he comes to my car. He says, Uncle, give me 10 cents. Turn the glass on. He said, what you want it for? I want to give him a little drink. I say, not a day like it. So I help him. If he had said I was hungry, I would say, what you want to eat? I on the drive-thru. I will buy you food. Don't let people put guilt trip on you. I got to give you my money to buy rum with, but I got to give you something to wear. I got to give you something to eat. And if you're in a hospital, I need to visit you. That's what Jesus is concerned about. Give me 10 cents. 10 cents. Now he says, man was sowing seeds in his own field. Can you imagine if everybody in here dealt with their own field? Oh, Jesus. What could we say about that, Pastor? If you focused on your field and the people who came to your field looking for help and you could help them. How about helping the people you could help? It says, now, the man sowed good seeds. Good seeds. Watch this now. Go to verse number 25. Same text, next verse. Here is what happened. Mercy says, while man slept, the enemy came, Clement, and sowed tares among the wheat. It says now, you have to understand that tares, they look like wheat when they grow it. But they're poisonous, the seeds are black. So it's only when the harvest comes up you can see the difference. Watch this. So he says, the enemy came to plant tares. Sow tares. And now you are doing good. You say, Pastor, I'm minding my own business. They don't like me, Pastor. They hate me on my job. They do this, they do that. They do the next thing to me. What do you expect? There's no harvest without conflict. Oh, I wish someone would get that in their spirit. There is no harvest without conflict. He says that men were sleeping while you taking a break. Some people thinking about how to do you evil. And if by chance there's no one thinking about how they can do you evil, maybe you are not being as effective as you could be. Maybe you ain't really sowing good seeds. Some people came up against me this week when I really thought I knew I was doing good. And they came up against me. I said, you know what? There's no harvest without conflict, so do what you got to do. I'm sowing good seeds. And so don't spend time crying and whining about why they doing this to me. The Bible says the enemy came while you were resting, while you taking a break. The enemy came and sowed some stuff. Yeah, they lie on you. They trying to assassinate your character. You spending time telling people it was not me. I was not there. I'm a good person. You spending countless amount of hours talking about it. Says while he was sleeping, the enemy came. Could I tell you today, if you can see them, they're not your enemy. If you can see them, they are not your enemy. Some people will do you wrong and they're controlled by the enemy. There's some people whose job, their purpose in life is to stop you from getting to your purpose. That's what they were put here for. They give themselves to the devil to make sure, I can make sure they don't get out there to go nowhere. They spend time trying to oppose you. They're tacticians. They spend time trying to defend you, trying to stop you from moving forward. But I like this text. It says, they did the best they could do. They sowed the tares. They planted them in. They did the best they could do. Several years ago, someone told me, he said, you're only one letter away from losing this good job. I said, do what you got to do. So he sends a novel to the person who in charge of security on the job, and everybody was frantic. Wherever it could happen, God is faithful. And so for months straight, they took me through a rigorous investigation. He gone, and 2 years later, I still there. They can sow the tares as much as they like, but harvest is coming. Give your neighbor a high five. Tell them, harvest is coming. Now, while I was writing this early this morning, I remembered something. Look at verse number 28. 28 says, and he says unto them, the enemy has done this. Now, look at what the servant said. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? I want to tell you today, Karen, know your role. You are not a surgeon. If you go and remove and touch it before you need to. See, doing the wrong thing, the right thing at the wrong time is still dangerous. Doing the right thing at the wrong time will still affect your harvest. Just ask Moses. Moses knew he was called to deliver them, but he tried it on his own, so he ended up killing Egyptian God. Doing the right thing at the wrong time will affect your harvest. And so he says, do you want me, Sam, to go out there? There's some of us in our amateur surgeon stage. Kelly, if somebody do me wrong and I allow this flesh to take over, at the end of the day, church will be out not only because crowd crawling, but because someone get cut. Watch this, watch this, watch this. See, because at the end of the day, Woody, I will say, in war, there'll always be casualties. But because you are not a surgeon, cancer may be tied to something. A tumor is tied to something. And you don't want the rookie who just come out of college. Y'all talk to me. How much church you ever had, doctor? Oh, this is my first one. But I'm going to do you right. I saw this on YouTube last week. You don't want someone who's not a surgeon to try cut a tumor, because if it's tied to your kidney, they might cut a piece of that kidney to you, and you say, no, don't fool with that. If you touch some things, you're going to end up rooting up the good things that you already did. You spend your life keeping your good name. Why go out there and answer stupid people? You go out there and word for word. Never box with an idiot. Never. Never box with an idiot. Because everybody know they're an idiot. And you can look like an idiot. He's already an idiot. You're not a surgeon. I got my knife in hand. Ready to fight. You cutting some stuff. And you end up killing some people in the process. Look at what Jesus said in verse 29. He says, no, leave it alone. Oh, Jesus. I came to tell someone today, leave it alone. Just let it go. Leave it till harvest. Don't touch it today, because if you touch it, you can mess it up. some of us spend our life messing up things. We do a good job messing up our own selves. He says, no, man. Leave it. Sometimes we need to tell people, we have so many people bringing us news. Calm down. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. I call it the little Bo Peep principle. You know the little Bo Peep principle? Leave them alone and they will come home, wagging their tails behind them. Leave it alone long enough, Woody. God will work it out. See, some of us, we do like fight. We always want a confrontation. We always want a confrontation. What she say? Girl, what you say? You talk about my mom? You don't know my... Let me make sure she's still over there. No, you don't know my mom. Isn't it crazy how we take children principles and take it all through our life? All through school. In every school in this nation, they only had to say one thing, and that's big fight. That's your mom. Fight. Now we go on the job. Someone say something. What you say? We dying to just fight. No, man, we forgetting the verses prior to 29. I done sow good seeds. Leave it alone. Telling me, say, now, calm down. Leave it. Don't touch it. Because if you touch it, you're going to make a mess out of this. Now let me ask an honest question here. How many of us have really made a mess of some things our own selves? Let me see your hand. Let me see your hand. I want some honest people today. Who will say, you know what, Pastor? I touched it, my own self, and I made a mess of things. The devil, you can put your hand down, Andrew. I believe you. I believe you. Crystal, get her 2 hands up. The devil didn't do this to me. I did this to myself. I touched it. Spend the rest of your life, Latria, like Shaggy. It wasn't me. You spend the rest of your life trying to explain why. I get to a point now, if I haven't, you all hear me good. If I got to explain everything to you, clearly you don't know me. If I had to explain everything about who I am to you all over again, clearly you don't know me. Yeah, clearly you don't know who I am. If you don't know me by now, my God. Somebody remember that song? You will never, never know me. If you don't know I'm a good person by now, I'm done trying to explain that to people every day. So what? They said I do that. All right, fine. We can work it out. Says, if you touch this thing, no, y'all don't sing that one. Yeah, Vanda, but your mama can know. No, that's not the one. If you touch it, you can mess it up. He says there is no way. Because as the wheat growing, there is no way you can pull out the tares without rooting up some wheat too. So he say, leave it. And what is so crazy, the enemy thinks they win, Jermaine, when you leave it. When you don't answer. They say 6 months, I answer. They say we can die, I answer. They say this, I answer. Then someone came, they said, but Rev, why you didn't answer? No, God is faithful. Years later, 5 years later, I still here. And doing well. Because I did not spend the time trying to pull out the tares the same time. When you spend time messing around and trying to vindicate your own self, trying to justify my name, they lie on my name. Okay. Relax. God is in control. He says, he root up also the wheat with them. But it is a funny thing when harvest time comes around. Look at verse 30. The very first thing Daniel gets exposed is the lies of the enemy first. He says, leave them. Let them grow. But on the day of harvest, the first thing. So why would you spend time trying to vindicate yourself when the very first thing before you get the harvest God will deal with is the lies of the enemy? Oh, I wish I could talk to you today. Why do you spend time trying to justify why it was not me? Why I didn't do this? Why I didn't say that? Why? It was not me. When the very first thing before you get the increase. The minute this church started to grow, the first thing God did was deal with the lies first. The lies they told on us, God dealt with it first. And then people kept up, they say, but y'all are not the way they say. God is faithful. That's the answer to everything. It might not sound right, that's the answer. God is faithful. They say, but they say y'all was like this, they say y'all was like, God is faithful. But we don't find y'all to be like that. God is faithful. Keep praying for me. The very first thing God deals with is the lies of the devil first. The people who try to cut you down. Can I tell you, never run behind the Judases in your life. Never run behind Judas. Judas has something built in him to self-destruct. Judas will hang his own self. Circumstances will happen and Judas will expose his own self. But when you spend time trying to expose Judas for who he is, what happens to your purpose? Oh Lord. You cannot function the same time while you're talking to Judas. Some of us are so consumed with the naysayers in our lives. We haven't worked on our purpose for years because we're still trying to shake ourselves free of the lies people told on us. Look at the text, the very first thing he sent for. And what is so crazy, I read the text this morning, it says, let them grow together until harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, oh Jesus, oh Lord. So what you're saying to me is, the very person who I'm talking to, who pointed out to me, he ain't the one who's going to have to do the reaping. He will stand by and see. God has already created an audience for you. There are people who know the truth, but they just waiting to see exactly how. There's some people who already know the truth, and so they standing up there, they standing with you. They're waiting on some other people to reap and separate the wheat and tares. He says, I will send the reapers. So Terry, me and you standing right here. And we will see how God will do this, Alpha. It don't have to be you. You can stand still and see the salvation of God. When you plant a seed in the ground, you plant it with good intentions. Pastor, I spent my life doing and giving for people. Then Sam told you, she reminded you today that the harvest is coming in this next 6 months. God is going to do some great things for you because you spent time in the first 6 months of this year. I gave more in the first 6 months of this year than I ever given before because I believe that it's harvest time. He says, wait until that day. And in harvest, Clement, everyone will see what you've been saying. Now, what a rewarding feeling when people are coming back to you and say, boy, you didn't do that for true. God is faithful. Yeah, I didn't spend time telling people what I didn't do. People will see you for who you are. When the time is right. Many years ago, my brother picked a coconut. It was green. And that's the worst I ever see someone get beaten for coconut. And I'm thinking, why you beat the boy? But I couldn't say it. Why you beat the boy? And the explanation came from our Father. He said, because you robbed the tree of its harvest. Stop trying to force ripe things. Stop trying to force ripe stuff. Picking the mango and putting it underneath your bed. Force ripen things. Stop hiding stuff and force ripen them. Let them ripe on their own. That boy get beaten so bad. I could still see the little green. The little green coconut, he was only this big. And he get wet. That's the first person I ever see our father beat. He never beat nobody else. But boy, he wailed up his skin. He said, because you robbed the tree of his harvest. And I never understood it until I began to sow seeds and I expect a harvest. You have to expect a harvest, especially when you're sowing good seeds. Stop trying to force ripe things, man. Picking. Oh, there's too much mango going around, man. For you to hide mango on your bed and in your closet. How stink of mango. Everywhere you turn, you picking up one. Jillian, stop it. Let things ripe on their own. I need nothing worse than people who have tree and hiding stuff. Man, the tree is yours. That's okay, then God can make a way. Hide. You ever see Clement hide any mango? You don't hide mangoes. You don't hide that which God has provided for you, man. You don't take your harvest. If you eat your little harvest now, what can happen when you really need the harvest? What will happen? See, because I don't want you to believe that you're getting two harvests off the same seed. You get your harvest. God has designed a time for the harvest to come forth. But if you eat it before then, you already eat your harvest. You already eat your increase. So he says, the first thing God will do is deal with the detractors. Deal with the people who tried to deal with you. Fight against them, but fight against me. Genesis chapter 12, he says, I will bless those that bless you. And by the same token, I will curse anyone who curses you. So why will I spend time messing with you when God already spoke something over your life long before you came here?